Raider Nation, or top of the morning to everybody, and welcome to the Samoan Raiders show with your favorite Oos. And of course, man, it's the first time going live in the morning, but I'm gonna try to do this every single day. At least Monday to Friday, and see how everything goes. But we're gonna talk Raider news, of course, all the latest Raider news that's been going on. We'll talk about the NFL Combine. Since the Combine is going on this week, it's gonna be huge for just NFL fans in general, and for the Raider fans as well, to look at some possible prospects that the Raiders can bring over here to Las Vegas to help this team out a little bit. Of course, we'll talk about Geno Smith's future. We'll talk about some impending free agents for the Raiders, on who the Raiders should cut or keep on this roster. We'll also talk about some things going around in the NFL, and also talk about some things outside the NFL, like USA winning gold. But shout out to everybody up in the chat. We got 25 people in here deep. Like I said, man, I'm going to utilize this channel. This is my second channel that I made after the main channel got hacked. And I was like, you know what? Since I got such a great community on this channel, I might as well use it for something. And I thought, hey, let's start something new, and do a morning show every single morning, Monday to Friday. Someone like a Pat McAfee show, and talk about a lot of things going on around the league and sports in general, man. But shout out to everybody that's up in the chat right now. I see Martin up in here. I see Trey up in here. JRV in the chat right now. We got Two Fly Cuddy. We got Raider Diaz up in the chat. Let's go, man. Knock Andrew 1408, man. Shout out to the chat, man. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. If you guys haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. Does a lot for the channel and takes a little bit of your time, man. But without further ado, I wanted to bring on the big Oos, my honorary Oos and co-host to the Samoan Raider show, Mr. Joe Morley. How you doing, Oos?
Good morning. Good morning. It's early, but it's good. It's early, but good.
It's a little earlier than usual, but I think this will be kind of fun, man, to kind of get used to doing morning shows and seeing everything going on, and hopefully we'll see how things pan out moving forward. But man, it's NFL Combine week, Oos, and you were supposed to be out there. What happened, Oos?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was supposed to be out there, just like the Senior Bowl, but I mean, the weather has been something. It's been different. Connecting flights is not something a big guy likes to do.
I feel it.
And it's kind of good to have a little break. Like we went hard at it, pause, for the football season, and
Yeah.
then we went straight to Super Bowl week, and it's been a long week, and then to turn around and do this, and we still got like the draft and WrestleMania and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna take a week off. Because I don't know how much I can get from the combine in person than that I can't get right here watching it at home. You know what I mean? Because it's all broadcast on TV. The only thing I'm gonna get is an interview that I can. It's not even a one-on-one interview. It's gonna be a scrum. So, am I really gonna get much out of it?
Hey, you never know. You never know when you get into. You never know. As long as you're there, you might run into somebody, man. I mean, we ran into Fernando a Super Bowl week, and we didn't get nothing from him, but just like 10 seconds of his time. But hey, like I always look at that and look at those different opportunities. Like, dang. But it's crazy though, right? Because you had the opportunity to go. I mean, we had the opportunity to go to Senior Bowl, and like just as content creators or people that just cover sports, the Raiders in particular, like it's just crazy to think that we could be in those spaces. And I think leading up into the NFL draft, with the Raiders having the number one overall pick, we might be in the building. We might be in the building, and there might be an opportunity to see our future quarterback yet again, and possibly shake his hand with my other hand now. But it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, but this is a big week. It is a big combine week. I don't know if people really notice. Like if you're a hardcore fan, you know what combine week is. If you are like a casual fan that just turn on the games every once in a while, combine week is a huge week. This is when every team, like since the season's been over, this is when all the teams get together. This is where all the GMs, this is where the coaches,
this is where the talk happens.
Agents. If you're a free agent, you're sending your guy there. You're sending this is where the unofficial talks. Like everybody thinks that free agency starts next month, and it does. You can't sign somebody.
Yeah.
This is where the little whispers start. Like, hey,
this is where you start getting a feel for, hey, I know you got this guy. You might, if you guys are interested, hey, we could throw a little bit your way, Like, come on, Mike, man. Let's get a deal done, man. Tom Brady to the Raiders. How we feeling? And maybe they might be on it. Maybe there might be some deals in place. But then until like free agency comes around, or when you can actually do trades and whatnot, it can't be official. And I was poking fun at it, but remember years ago, right? Like when the Raiders had an opportunity to bring Tom Brady over, there was some talks that it had to take the Raiders trading away Derek Carr, and then reports are that the Raiders had cold feet. John Gruden had cold feet and didn't want to trade away Derek Carr for a veteran or older quarterback. But maybe it would have been a blessing, or maybe it would have been a curse for the Raiders moving forward. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of talk. There's a lot of players. Of course, one of our guys is definitely going to be the talk of the town, at least over there in Indianapolis. But before we get into all of that, man, again, shout out to the chat right now. I see some people just coming in right now. AP up in there saying good morning. Top of the morning to everybody up in here. When does free agency start? March, right? First week of March.
March 11th, but then they have a new 3-day tampering period that they started
before then. Yeah, I
days
learned that like a couple of years ago when because I looked up the day for free agency when it officially starts, right? And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about it till that day happens. But then I did not know that days before you can agree, like it's verbal agreements, right? That's when you can tamper and just say, hey, so and so. And then I think it was the year that what's his name, Roger Saffold or whatever.
yeah.
Remember when we got like he was like, oh, he's going to the Raiders. He agreed to it. I was like, okay, we solidified a piece of the offensive line just to find out that did he fail his physical or did he just back out?
No, what happened was the Raiders got embarrassed because the Raiders bid against themselves for Roger Stafford, gave him a big ass contract, and then once it came out, everybody's like, "You overpaid for that guy." It's embarrassing, and then the Raiders found a way to like, he failed his physical, and
So I remember something like that happened, but I didn't know the whole backstory on it. But those are the things that happen. Like just because you agree to it doesn't mean that they'll officially come. But more than likely, if you do agree with it, that you most likely got that guy. But like I said, there's a lot that's going to be going on at the combine. But before we talk a little bit more about the combine, man, I do want to hit on the recent hire that the Raiders had. Of course, they've been filling out their coaching staff so far, right? But according to Tom Pelissero, the Raiders have hired Mario Jebarel as their offensive run game coordinator. He's a Las Vegas native. Jebarel was most recently a defensive assistant with the Jaguars. Now he takes a key role on Clint Kubiak's staff. He does have extensive experience coaching offensive lines at both the NFL and collegiate level. What are your thoughts on Mario Jebarel? Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know too much about him. I didn't even know about him until yesterday. So, any good news on that, or how we feeling?
I mean, I don't have a lot to say about him. I know I've seen a lot of people going, "Well, how are we putting a defensive guy on the offensive side?" That's normal stuff. Like most of these coaches have coached both sides of the ball before, and really, if you're going to put somebody on the offensive side and you want them to learn, this is the time to do it, right? Because Clint Kubiak's more like he's the offense coordinator. Right?
Yeah.
So it really doesn't matter who you put over. You're just giving them a title and you're putting them over there to learn. So I'm good with it. Like I said, I don't know a lot about him, but I just know that this is a great coaching staff. I'm just still worried about wondering what they're going to do with the quarterback coach position. That's the one I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I know a lot of people. Yeah, well, is it that big of a deal when we got Clint Kubiak and Andrew Janoko, right? But I know what you mean.
Yeah,
like just finding a name. Maybe Greg Olson's out there. He come over here and help out. Or maybe go get that guy that used to play for the Raiders that everybody wants to come in coach at the quarterback position.
Oh, Jeff George?
Yeah. Jeff George. No, not Jeff George. Okay, you got me with that one. We don't got a quarterbacks coach yet, but I think it's gonna be another interesting hire when the Raiders do find that guy. Again, shout out to the chat. I see some more people coming in. Lance Green up in here. We got Darth Jader up in here. Says I was watching a Raider Squad show when I saw the Samoan was live. Hey, like I said, we're gonna be live every single morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So talking about everything Raiders and whatnot, and then somebody says, Lance also added to that saying, we got to go grab Cheetah. So you know what? Let's talk about that real quick. Just we'll just harp on it because I know as Raider fans, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm a victim of, or Okay, I don't even know the word I'm trying to say, but I do the same thing as well. Whenever there's a big name free agent, or whenever there's somebody that gets released, that's a big name. I always kind of link them to the Raiders. But of
Yeah.
course, Tyreek Hill, who was recently released by the Miami Dolphins. Would you want Tyreek Hill to the Las Vegas Raiders?
Me personally, no. Uh, I don't know what he would want for money wise, and I'm sure he's still getting paid for the Miami Dolphins. But I don't think we need that kind of drama
Yeah.
in here. We haven't been able to go and have a drama free off season in a long time. And Cheetah's coming from a big injury where I think he broke his knee, tore his knee and broke his leg, or it was horrible. And then he's up there in age. You saw that he's not afraid to throw some teammates under the bus anymore. Like, he's up there where he's like, I don't care anymore. I don't know. I don't want that diva mentality. And then the Raiders kind of have an unwritten rule about no players with a DV past.
With a
Kind of
what?
threw that out there. Domestic violence past.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
It's not like a hard in writing rule, but it's kind of been like an unwritten rule from Fred Blenikoff's
yeah,
era. So that's another reason I don't see the Raiders going after him.
yeah. And knowing Mark Davis, Mark Davis always he's a guy that's always I don't know why I'm forgetting, but Mark Davis always honors those type of things, right? Especially when it comes to the Raiders organization, it's always a family, and it's been that way, and that's one reason why we I forgot who we didn't get, because that was one big thing about that person. Was it Greg Hardy? I forgot. But there was some points in times where they're available. There's players that are available that have that type of pass that the Raiders won't even touch. And for me, as far as Tyreek Hill, I wouldn't want Tyreek Hill. Uh, I don't know. He's just not the same player, and I understand what he's done before, but I'm kind of tired of going and getting those superstar wide receivers, and they come over here, either they go crazy or they don't really pan out for this team. Or looking at the Raiders and where they're at right now, why would he even want to come over here? Right. And he's coming off that injury. So there's a lot of red flags there. Of course, Tyreek Hill is a great wide receiver, is going to be a Hall of Famer. I think is going to be a Hall of Famer. But coming to the Raiders, no. And I know somebody else brought in Mike Evans up in here, and we talked about it on the last show. I'm cool off of Mike Evans too. Great receiver as well, but that injury history, and he up there in age. He's past his prime, and I don't think that the Raiders need to get that type of receiver. There's other receivers that we could get, and a lot of there's probably like 10 to 20 receivers that I would get over these two. Not saying because they're bad, but just saying, knowing the Raiders right now and the situation that we're in, I'd rather go into a different direction with a younger, more hungrier, I guess, wide receiver.
It's
But
exactly what you
yeah,
just said. Why would they want? They're at the end of their career. Why would they want to come to? And basically, to be honest, we're a rebuilding program. We're turning around. Hopefully, we'll get you know, some good wins this year. But in reality, we're looking at a 2-year rebuild with the young team that we have.
yeah. No, exactly, and that's why I feel the way I feel. Yeah, Lance Green says the Antonio flashbacks. Yeah, I was covering this team at that time, and I was super hyped. I was going crazy with all the content and stuff like that with Antonio Brown, just for him to just turn around and stab us in the back, man. That's definitely gonna always go down as the season that never was, because I think that the Raiders could have been really good.
Oh,
Derek
yeah.
Carr and Antonio Brown, with everything I heard behind the scenes, even in the building with Antonio Brown, like that dude was cooking everybody up at practice. And that connection, that DC to AB connection, ABDC,
Well,
I
that was
heard
the
it would
year
have been
that
crazy.
we had Hard Knocks too, so everybody was like tuned in. We
Yeah,
were getting pumped up, and like every time they got together on the practice field, it was like magical. Like, you saw long, deep passes by Derek Carr to AB, and you were like, "It's going to be a season." I think even John Gruden was excited about it. He made a whole like different playbook for him and everything.
yeah.
And yeah, I always wonder what would have happened if AB would have been on that team. And
Man, we never even got to see him play. Like he didn't play preseason. But yeah, from everything that I've heard, it was basically all on him, and that's something that I don't want happening. And I know we had superstar receivers before, or even afterwards with Devonte Adams. It didn't pan out for us, but I mean, there's a lot of things that go into it, but I don't think that the Raiders need a superstar receiver, but we do need some reliable receivers and some talented receivers. At least some people that are on the way up. That's why I look at guys like, Alec Pierce. I know you talked about Romeo Dobbs, maybe even George Pickens, but that, George Pickens is somebody that I'm kind of like worried about. Like it could work out for us, but then him on the other side. I know when you come to
George
the
Pickens
Raiders,
be like, well, let's go.
because when you put the Raiders jersey on, sometimes it turns people a little cuckoo, up in the head. So that's why I'm like, I'd rather go with somebody that's low maintenance. That's why we all love Mendoza, because Oos is low maintenance, especially in Vegas. I don't want Diego Pavia. Hell no. Like I don't want
Nope.
those type of characters over here in Las Vegas. But that being said, Fernando Mendoza, we have.
Fernando.
Yes, sir. Our future quarterback, Fernando, is going to be at the NFL Combine. But according to Adam Schefter, he tweeted out that projected number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza, will not throw at the Combine this week. Per source, he will throw at Indiana's Pro Day on April 1st, when the school has multiple pass catchers that Mendoza wants to help showcase. Now, Fernando will be at the NFL Combine, but only for medical evaluations and team interviews. What is your thoughts on that, Us?
I'm good with it. Like a top quarterback started this a couple years ago, and it's not nothing new. Like if you don't know what or how good the players are before they get to the combine, like then that's on you and that's on your scouting department. Like I understand what the combine isn't about the drills anymore. It's not about running the 40. It's not about showing up and doing all. It's about just getting to know the players. So if you show up, you do your interviews, and you do stuff like that. There's nothing else that you could prove in a couple drills that teams shouldn't already know about you. You go there and you run a 40 and it's a tenth of a second slower than what it showed on film. Like, come on, is that really gonna? No, that's nothing to you. So I don't. There's nothing Fernando can prove at the NFL Combine throwing. The cool thing is, like, he doesn't even have to throw out his pro day. He's only doing that, and that right there, what he's doing at his pro day, which is April 1st, for you guys that want to watch that. April 1st, he's going to go out there and do his pro day, and the only reason he's throwing at his pro day is because he wants to showcase Surratt and Omar Cooper, and he's being a very good teammate for those wide receivers. But to be honest, the NFL draft or the NFL Combine shouldn't really bump your status unless you're like a third, fourth round guy already. That's where you're going to move up and down. But if you're already a solidified first round pick, you're pretty much good going to the combine. It's just getting you in for the interview, and as long as you don't say something stupid, it's usually good.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And like when I heard this, I was like, you know what? Shout out to Mendoza, because we all know that everybody's gonna have eyes on Mendoza already because he's the number 1 overall pick. He doesn't have to throw, like to your point, and we've seen multiple quarterbacks do the same exact thing years prior. But the fact that his reasoning is because he wants to highlight the same players that he has, and he already has a rapport with those guys, so it makes it much easier for him to go out there and do what he does. But like you said, he's already got everything else on tape, so there's really nothing else to prove. But going to the combine still just to do all the important stuff, especially those interviews, which I don't even know why he's interviewing with other teams, because there's only one team that he needs to interview with but I love that. And I know that there's going to be a lot of people around the NFL that just would love to pick his brain and just see where he's at. So I love that, because I feel like for those top players, you got more to lose at the NFL Combine than to gain. And like you said, with all those mid-round guys or the guys that you really want to see, yeah, it helps those people boost their draft stocks. We've seen it years ago. Byron Jones killed the NFL Combine, and everybody was looking at him. DK Metcalf, I was surprised with DK Metcalf that one year where he killed everything and he still fell to the end of the second round. But like I said, for Mendoza, he doesn't have anything else to prove but just to go out there and show what he has mentally. And especially for the Raiders, this is the first time he gets to speak with the Raiders, and the Raiders get to go, have that one-on-one with him and just, at least solidify why he should be the number 1 overall pick, which I do think he will be the number 1 overall pick. But, I like it, though. I like it, and it just... Now, do you think that it's going to be, like, do you think people will look at it because I know if he was to go to the combine and throw at the combine, he'd get a little bit more points for that because people will be like, oh, shout out to him for doing that. But do you think that this affects? Well, it doesn't affect any draft stock, but uh, I don't know. Do you think this affects him negatively, like at all? Because I don't see no negative parts of it, but I know that you like to think outside of the box sometimes.
He's gonna get hate no matter what. If he doesn't throw, there's gonna be people that are gonna talk shit, like that they're saying, "Oh, he's so good that he's gonna." And then if he does throw and he makes a couple mistakes there, or his arm, on the deep pass doesn't look that great, they're gonna criticize him. So either way, either like Mendoza can do everything 100% correct this week, and there's gonna be criticism. There's gonna be people going to the combine this week just to throw out negativity about Fernando Mendoza. And the guy is one I don't know. We kind of just saw him in person. Like we didn't get to talk to him, but he just looked like one of the nicest guys I've ever met, or ever seen
Yeah,
in the world. Like he had a smile the whole time, just doing everything. He didn't have his head down. He was looking at everybody. This is one to be. Why would you want to tear this guy down? I don't know why, but this week we're gonna hear so many people try to get. I'm going to say that they're going to go for ratings and view clicks to try to just throw as much negative about Fernando Mendoza, and that's what it is. But in reality, there's no reason for Fernando to be out there throwing, unless if this was a year where if Dante Moore would have came out or another quarterback would have came out and they were battling for who's going to be number one, number
yeah,
two, that's different. But
yeah,
Fernando has it locked up. The Raiders, look, if you still I love the scenarios. That. I love talking about that. There's not even a point of talking about the Raiders trading out of the number one pick because it's not happening. The Raiders are taking Fernando Mendoza,
yeah.
number one. You've seen it with the way they've hired coaches and set everything up. They're preparing for Fernando to come in here. It's already a done deal.
Yeah, yeah, it's already written in stone, and I feel like when I think about that is maybe it's a strategic thing to talk ish on Fernando because we've heard a lot of different reports on people not really sold on him, or like you said, maybe people could run with certain scenarios or whatnot, and maybe hope that the Raiders think twice about it and be like, you know what? Fernando's not the guy. And then they go out there and they just say, let's trade back or we'll just go get the best player available. And then Fernando somewhat happens to fall into the Jets' lap. But like you said, I mean, yeah, if there was another quarterback out there, I would understand it. But I think even if Dante Moore came out, it would most likely be he would still most likely be the number one overall pick. But at least I think putting doubt out there might hopefully make the Raiders think otherwise. But I think that I've seen so many reports already that it's a foregone conclusion that the Raiders are not moving out of that pick. They're gonna draft Fernando Mendoza, and it will take a god haul to move out that number one pick. And most likely it's not gonna come unless it's like 5 first-round picks. But yeah, there's nothing else to prove. But that interview is gonna be huge because, like I said, he's gonna get a feel, or at least the Raiders will get a feel for Fernando Mendoza. You know.
Well, and Fernando gets to meet his idol, or the guy he grew up
Ooh, Tom
watching,
Brady, yeah.
Tom Brady. And so, but look, it was solidified after the national championship game when the
Oh,
Raiders,
oh yeah.
all the Raiders brass got a sweep
Oh,
at the game
you seen
when
the
they
way
watched
Mark Davis was staring at him pregame, Moose? He was staring at him with that gawk in his eye, Moose, and he was just smiling away, Moose, and he was like, "That's my quarterback." And like you said, the moment he ran over old dude and got into the
Oh
end
yeah,
zone, hey,
yeah. As
the
soon as he
card
lowered his
has
shoulder,
already been written, Moose. His name has been written. It's been in Mark Davis's pocket since that day. It was, so it's probably crumpled up by this time, but they'll probably open it up. It'll be because we
you ever
know.
seen the movie Draft Day, where
I've never
Draft
watched it. I
Day,
need to watch it though.
where he write the name on the piece of paper and you stick this in your pocket
Uh
and it
huh.
says draft Mendoza no matter what, no matter what.
Yeah, it's
I don't like you said it would have to take a god haul. I could see the Raiders getting offered 2 first-round picks and more and still going no. And because
is that a god hog?
whatever questions you have about Mendoza, whatever you feel about Fernando Mendoza, at the end of the day, Raiders have put themselves in a position where they need a franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
And you are in that position, and there's no guarantee that we can get it next year, even though there's 7 good quarterbacks coming out next year. there's no guarantee that we get one of them because we saw it a couple years ago when all those quarterbacks went before our pick, right?
Yeah.
So we're sitting there at 13 going, yeah, we could probably get a quarterback, and then gone. So I don't care what your comparison is of Fernando Mendoza to who you compare it to. I've seen some people go, Fernando is the comparison to Joe Burrow. Fernando is comparison to Kirk Cousins. He's Jared Goff. So in my, so you ask yourself, would you take Kirk Cousins? Because that'd probably be the least one, right? It'd be probably Joe Burrow is probably your best, then Jared Goff, and then Kirk Cousins. Out of those comparisons, oh, some people say Matt Ryan. Would you take any of those four at number one overall? And the answer is yes. I mean, Jerry Goff was a first round overall pick, and he did lead his team as a game manager or whatever you want to call him to a Super Bowl with the Rams. And he's led the Lions to a playoff game. So, yes, no matter what you think of Fernando Mendoza, if he is only a game manager, then that's what you bring him in here. You want to put the weapons around him, which the Raiders already have in Ashton Genty and they have in Brock Bowers. Get him a wide receiver, fix up that offensive line, and let your game manager work. That's all that matters.
And to that point, like I've said this before, and I've told you before, it was that the bar for a Raiders quarterback is not high. It's really low. Like our expectations aren't that high. Just come over here, do your job, no turnovers. You could have 100 yards passing with a touchdown or two, but as long as there's no turnovers and the Raiders could get a lead, keep the lead, run the ball perfectly and whatnot, then that's all we ask of you. Like, but the fact that the last couple quarterbacks that we've had, starting for the Raiders have been horrible outside of Jimmy G. Like all of those guys have set the bar really low, and most of it is because of the turnovers that they've had. But we know that Fernando coming over here is not going to be perfect. There will be some rookie woes with him. Like he's going to take some time, but at least that's coming from a rookie quarterback. And we have a lot of people in his ear, at least mentors, whether it's a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, whether it's Clint Kubiak, Andrew Janoko. Like we got a lot of minds over here, and even maybe Tom Brady as well that could come over here or that are here for him to go to whenever he's struggling like that. But like I said, like whether it's a Kirk Cousins, whether it's a Jared Goff, whether it's a Matt Ryan, like all of those guys, we would love those type of careers over here if he was to come over here and succeed. I mean, everybody looks at Derek Carr like he's the greatest quarterback that's ever put on the silver and black, and rightfully so. He's been the longest tenured for the past couple of years, and also he had a lot of great moments and helped his team win games, and had a playoff run twice with this team, and like that's definitely the bar, and the bar, like I said, is not set that high because we only went to the playoffs twice. It's not like Derek Carr took us to the Super Bowl, but the way we look at this quarterback, the at least the way we look at the quarterback position is different than the Steelers look at a quarterback position. Is different from all these other teams looking at the quarterback position because it's been one of our weakest positions for the past couple of years. So Fernando, like I said, I think it's the best quarterback. Well, it's definitely the best quarterback in this year's draft, but also I think the best quarterback to come around for the Raiders to have an opportunity at. And I think, as much as I've been mad that the Raiders haven't tanked properly the past couple of years, I'm more happy that the Raiders tanked. Well, they didn't purposely tank, but I'm happy that they got the number one pick this year than they did last year. Because of course, I wanted Shador and maybe Cam Ward, but I take Fernando Mendoza in a heartbeat over those guys, and I think he'd be the perfect candidate over here in Las Vegas. And I think that's why we're all kind of hyped up about it, right? Because
Yeah,
we don't really have to worry about him, especially in Sin City, entertainment capital of the world. He's gonna come over here and just be a character, and I already see that leadership in him, and we like you said, we seen him firsthand, just walking around, and the most polite dude. Maybe Vegas will change him, who knows? But at least right now, the way we're looking at it right now, Fernando seems like a really good guy, and seems like the perfect quarterback and a perfect match for, of course, the Las Vegas Raiders. Who's
yeah, and he's not a perfect prospect, and nobody is. There's no guaranteed when it comes to NFL prospects. But like you said, the way he carries himself, I don't have any problems looking at him going, okay, the Vegas nightlife is gonna get to Fernando Mendoza. No, I'm
yeah,
like, you don't have to worry about that. That's the cool thing you don't have to worry about. It's just those little things. But when it comes to playing on the field, Of course, there's always questions about it, and you're always gonna be wondering about it,
Yeah,
but let it play out, and I hope it works out, and like you said, we have the great offensive coaching staff now that is actually gonna work around them, and they're gonna and Kubiak, I loved when Kubiak said this, it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the coaches that they're bringing in the building that can work, and they're gonna take Fernando's strengths and build a system around him and not put him into a system.
yeah, that is
That's
true.
that's
That's
the good
huge.
thing about it.
And and that's huge, and we've seen multiple teams do that. I mean, we've done that before too. But just building the team around them and putting them in the prime position to win, that's huge, and that's all we can ask for from a coaching staff, and especially for our future quarterback. But I'm excited for Fernando. Of course, pro day. I know Raider fans. Mark Davis, everybody named Mama's in the silver and black. We're gonna be looking out for that day. Maybe it's not even gonna be on that day because it's on April Fool's. So he might fool us and be like, "Gotcha, bitch! I'm not doing no pro day." It's not no pro day at all. I was just
Uh,
joking, man.
MB and show MB fit for 50
Yeah.
and showcase they're the right they're right on it right there. It's not going to be on Fernando Mendoza next
Oh
year. It's
yeah.
going to be on Genty because Genty's going to be your workhorse. He's going to be the guy that Fernando has to take the load away from Fernando. So
Yeah.
uh
I think so. And I agree with him too because we got to see a little bit of Ashton Jensen. We know that his rookie season wasn't perfect. There was a lot of ups and downs, of course. That offensive line was bad. Brendan Carroll was bad. Pete Carroll was bad too. But going into this new year with the quarterback, one of their best friends is going to be that running back position. And knowing that the Raiders have an up and coming running back in the NFL. Hopefully that takes a lot of the load off of him, especially with that play action. Do you think that it might be like I know a lot of people? One of the biggest knocks on Fernando is the fact that he plays a lot in shotgun and RPO, right? But he's never really under center. Do you think that will affect him at the next level, or it'll take some getting used to?
It might take a little getting used to, but that's I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah,
Alex Smith, like I said, Alex Smith came out of a all shotgun formation when he was at Utah. He turned out to be pretty good. Um, just because he did it at Indiana doesn't mean he never did it in his life. He's never been under center in his life. Come
yeah.
on, like this is just repetition that you have to get back into, get used to it. It should be fine. I don't see an issue with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is the new day of NFL, so RPOs and all that stuff is what the modern NFL is going to.
And we'll see. We'll see if Clint Kubiak accepts to his word, and maybe he changes up the game plan and be like, "Oh, we're an RPO team now, all shotgun team now." But I agree with you. I don't think it's gonna be that big of a deal for Fernando. He's gonna get used to it, and he's definitely gonna like adapt to whatever the offense allows him to. Right. So I'm excited for that, and like getting to another point, who's something that I did want to bring up since you kind of brought it up earlier, is the fact that the NFL Combine is not only evaluation of talent, right? It's not evaluating just the draftees that's going to come into the NFL draft, but it's a way of GMs, owners, coaches to talk about some potential trades, to talk about some potential deals, whatever it may be, whether it's like the
Oh, don't do it.
picks, Deuce, whether it's the picks or certain players on your team. We even alluded to what happened years ago with what's the old boy's name? Tom Brady possibly coming to the Raiders. That was something that was talked about at the NFL Combine. And it was something set in stone until the Raiders had cold feet and backed out of that whole ordeal. Now this week it was of course, what's the main thing that we've been talking about since the offseason started is Maxwell Crosby, right? And whether or not he wants to be a Raider or not. And there's been a lot of talks on it. It was like we talked about it. Well, we didn't talk about it, but there's been a lot of talk. Jay Glazer talked about it. There was even some people talking, alluding back to the fact that he got sat down for those last two games, and people saying, "Oh, Max wants out." Whether it's true or whether it's not, we even hit it on the head at Super Bowl week. But you even stated this before that if anything was to get done, it would be around the NFL Combine. Whether there's some talks about it, and I'm pretty sure we're going to hear a lot more about it this whole week, maybe next week, heading into almost the new year. But I wanted to go over this clip, Oos, Well, I wanted to because Tom Pelissero already is out there talking about it and saying that it's going to be a big week. Let me see. This is what he said. Tom Pelissero saying that it's where would I have it over here somewhere? Oh, right here. Oh no, I don't have it right there. Oh yeah, this is a big week at the NFL Combine for the Raiders and Maxx Crosby as they discuss his future with the team. It's going to be a pivotal stretch. So I want to play the video and then get your thoughts on it.
Well, Sherry, it is a big week for the Raiders and Maxx Crosby, who have been having conversations about his future. If there is a 3-1 teams are in Indianapolis this week, allows multiple things. I would expect Crosby's representatives and the Raiders to meet, but also there could be a variety.
All right, now we don't really care about Daniel Jones and the Colts, but after watching that, I think it's kind of like the same sentiments that we've talked about in the past couple of weeks with Maxx Crosby, right? And now that other GMs and other owners will have a chance to talk to the Raiders, even if the Raiders are not interested, right? Like the Raiders could go into this. It's not saying that the Raiders want to go out and look for a trade partner, but this is where a lot of people get to at least get a feel for it and, get in Mark's ear. Well, not Mark's ear, but whether it's John Spytek or any one of these jabronis out there and see like, okay, hey, I've been hearing all these things about Max, man. Like, come on, man. Like, talk to me. Like, if I was to shoot you two first and a player, certain player, like, what are you thinking? And they have all week to do it too, because John Spytek on Monday might be like, no, we're not trying to trade him. No, like we're good. It could be different by Thursday where people are just in his ear, like, hey, come on, give me some, man, on Max. But, the future right now, until some people say until Max comes out and says that, hey, I want to stay or whatnot, that's when people are going to start talking. But I kind of feel like he kind of stated it before, even though he didn't really state it. He kind of just alluded to it. But what's your thoughts on this? And even just going into the combine with all this talk about Maxx Crosby, do you think that there might be interest there, at least from the Raiders hearing out from any other teams?
I think there's going to be a ton of interest from other teams that want it. The Raiders have played it well, and the Raiders have said they don't want to trade Maxx Crosby. Clint Kubiak came out in his opening press conference and said that, that's a guy he wants to keep in the building. And it comes down to Max. And I know a lot of Raider fans are pissed off at me because I actually talk about this situation. I'm not afraid to hide from the Maxx Crosby situation just because he's our star player. And just because people don't want to hear about Max possibly leaving the Raiders doesn't mean that you should avoid this situation. It is something that you need to talk about. And what Tom Pelissero said is 100% correct. This is when all the GMs get together. This is when you start making the deals. When you kind of go up to John Spytek and go, "Hey, what if I sent you a second round pick?" And John Spytek's gonna go, "Shut the hell up and get out of my face." But you're gonna start those conversations because draft day trades aren't started overnight and just started in the 10 minutes that they have. It started here at the combine, and you work your way up. But he also did say, and this is another thing, is Max's people will be there in Indianapolis and they can talk to the Raiders as well. And sometimes money cures everything, right? Money talks. And maybe the Raiders go, hey, I know Max is upset, but what if we give him another contract extension and we bump him over $40 million a year and he's good to come back? So there's also that situation too. It's not just that the Raiders and other teams are going to talk. It's Max and his people and the Raiders are going to talk, and it could kind of uh, clear it out. But if it could all be all finished right now, if Max just came out to the camera and goes, I want to be a Raider for life. I want to play for the Raiders next season. I committed to the Raiders. I'm good. I'm in the building with the Raiders. Clint Kubiak is my coach, and I'm ready to go. Instead, all we've heard from him is I'm in the building getting ready for myself, getting myself 100% ready. And I know there's a lot of things that probably pissed him off from last year. And Max is a guy that hates losing, and he's talked about it. He wants to win, and Max doesn't want to get shut down, even though it was probably the best thing for him and the organization to do so. I think it was just the wrong. They just didn't talk to him about it beforehand. They just made the decision for him, and then he got pissed off about it. And Max has to kind of get used to that. And I'm sorry, we talked about this before. Max has to realize that he doesn't have the power in the organization that he used to have now. That organization, or the way that it was ran, where Max could go straight to Mark Davis and get anything that he wants, and talk to and do all that. It's not anymore. There's a structure now, and the Raiders are actually using the structure where the GM is our guy, is the power guy now, and
But
I like that.
yeah, do you think like, well, he's also said that, he stayed out of all of that because he's seen it before, right? Because he's always been in the ear, or he's always been in the know with everything around the organization, especially when it came around to this time where there's a new regime with AP, with McDaniel, so on and so forth, Pete Carroll. But he stated that he's going into this offseason a little differently. Like, he's not saying anything, he's not bothering anybody, he's not even going and vouching for anybody. He's just doing his own job. He's still in the building, first one in, last one out, and doing his job. He's still in the building working out, and this is the place that he wants to be at, or at least like, to work out, right? And I feel like that's just him, like him not saying it, or even coming out and saying that is more like, I'm not even gonna entertain it. I'm not even gonna tell you guys whether or not like he's gonna stay.
Well, I don't know if Max wants to stay or not. Nobody can speak for Maxx Crosby but himself, like he said. What I do know is Max in the last couple of years has talked differently. And when he did talk, even last offseason, when he was talking about when the trade rumors come out, because it's an annual thing with Maxx Crosby. When it came out, he was talking about, when I get this contract ready, I'll be ready to go back with the Raiders. And it was more of a money issue last year. This year hasn't seemed like that. He is dealing with an injury. I understand he doesn't want to get into the politics of the hiring the head coach and all that, because it didn't work out well when he vouched for Antonio Pierce, right? And that kind of backfired.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Max, that wasn't an all Max thing. The Raider Nation and the Raider fans wanted AP too because of what happened with Rick Bisaccia and stuff like that. They didn't want to see another what if. So it wasn't all on Max at that time.
Yeah.
And Max is tired. It's just, there's a bunch of things. Now, do I think Max is going to leave? Do I want Max to leave? Hell no. Do I get a lot of DMs from people because I talk about this and they go, you're gonna catch this fade, Joe, because you want to talk about Max.
You're gonna catch this fade.
Just laugh at that, like, you're gonna sock me because I'm a content creator and I talk about, like, what happened, like these new like young fans. I'm talking about like 20 years old.
Vegas
like,
fans.
They're not Vegas fans, but like they're not used to sports talk radio. They're not used to being able to talk about topics. Like, what do you think the offseason is? The offseason is all about bullshit topics of what ifs, and that's all it is. And if you're not able to talk about it, that's on you. But the Maxx Crosby situation, there's an interview. I want Max, like, if I'm the Raiders, there's one guy I want Maxx Crosby to talk to. And he's not even a part of the Raiders organization. I want Maxx Crosby to talk to Chad Ochocinco. I don't know if you saw that interview.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, man. Shout out to who posted that? It was a Shifty or House Rules. I forgot who it was. But no, go ahead. If I find it, I'll post it.
Yeah, where Chad Ochocinco talked about, because Chad was on a losing team with the Cincinnati Bengals, and he left and he went with the New England Patriots. I don't know if he actually won a ring with them, but he won and went to the playoffs for the first time and did all that. But he said the one thing he regretted is leaving. And he goes, I won with New England, but to turn around and see Cincinnati win after I left, was heartbreaking. And I wanted to be a part of that. And I think that's the same thing with Max. Is Max, you've been here the whole fucking time. You've been here with us. You've worked your ass off. And now the Raiders are finally getting to a point where they're going to be able to turn it around. And you're not going to be there? Like, I think that would be the one regret that Maxx Crosby feels if he goes, even if he goes and wins the Super Bowl somewhere else, he's going to look back and go, dang, the Raiders started winning after I left, and I could have been a part of that.
Yeah, no. And that's the thing. Like, I don't think, like, for me, I don't think that he wants to leave. And that to my point, what I was saying earlier before my mic got shut off. But, like, even though he didn't really come out and say, like, hey, I want to stay, or I am going to stay or whatnot, I think he kind of said it without saying it. But then again, I know that falls back to another point. If people are going to take everything that he says and see the meaning behind it, whether there is meaning there or not. That's why I think we all want to hear him just say it. But you know, he's in a building, he's doing his job. But bringing up the Chad Ochocinco thing, which I'm gonna play in just a little bit. If people didn't watch it, I seen it on Twitter too. It hurts even more, especially like you said, like he's been here through the worst of it, right? Like we had some ups, but most of it's been down ever since he's been there. But he's been taken care of nicely. You know, Mark Davis has always made sure to give him that extension, give him that check because he deserves it, because he's been the best player that we've had on this roster for a long time, especially on the defensive side where our defense usually isn't really good. But it definitely would suck that you leave. It's kind of like you leave your girl, right? You leave your girl, go find the new hottest thing. But you quickly find out that, oh, it was good for a moment. But what you had back then, you know, that loyalty that you had back then, nothing compares to it, right? And maybe your ex goes out there and turns it, you know, has that glow up, and you're like, damn, I had it good where I was at. I didn't need to move. And we see it with a lot of players where especially in the NBA, a lot of these players that build a reputation with a certain organization that is always losing, right? And then they go to a new team and they just become a shell of themselves, or they're not the same player, or they're not looked at the same way because that's not their team, right? Like, perfect example. I don't know how much you keep up with the NBA, but you know, Damian Lillard, right? He built a reputation with the Portland Trail Blazers, the face of that franchise, great moments, all of this. He wants to win. He goes to Milwaukee. He's not the guy no more. He's not the number one guy. And he becomes a shell of himself because he's not looked at the same way he was at Portland, right? But because he's with another guy in Giannis, and they don't win anything over there. And it like you said, if the Raiders start winning, like Ochocinco said, you know, the Bengals started winning when he left, it would feel much better when you're part of that turnaround than it is to see the turnaround happen when you're gone. So, like, that's one reason why I feel like it's hard for him, because he's built his career here and from the ground up, and he's the face of Las Vegas, whether people say it or not. But Las Vegas, we don't have that guy until Fernando Mendoza comes over. You know, we have Ashton Jency, Brock Bowers right now, but they're not like the face of Las Vegas, because we had the face of Oakland with all these other players, right? You could say Charles Woodson for one time, Derek Carr for a time, but especially for a quarterback, we haven't had it. But Maxx Crosby, since we moved here, has been the top dog. So I don't know if it'd be the same if he was to move anywhere else. But that's why I feel like, and I think there is interest there, but I don't think it'll happen. But I do want to play the clip, though. Let me see if I can bring it up, though. Let me see if I can bring it up.
Now, I did see a clip, and I laughed about it, where somebody said, if Maxx Crosby was traded, a lot of Raider fans would stop rooting for the team. Okay, and to me, that's funny, because nobody's bigger than the Shield. And, and I would be very upset. You would be very upset, and there would be a lot of people very upset to see Maxx Crosby leave this building. But I'm not going to stop rooting for the team. Like, if you're going to stop rooting for the team because they trade one of the players, then were you really a fan to begin with? No.
Yeah. Shout out to it's crazy though. I people say it, but I don't think they go through with it. But it's kind of the same with, you know, when DC, when he didn't become a Raider. There's some fans that went to the Saints and became Saints fans, but we're not going to talk about that too much. But I want to give a shout out to the chat, because the chat has been going. We're 100 deep up in here, man. Shout out to everybody up in here. Like I said, hit that like button if you haven't already. It takes a little bit of your time, but helps out the channel a lot. I'm gonna read over some of the comments real quick, because y'all been in here, man. Some people saying, Darth Jader said, I don't think that they should trade him. Max should wait and see how the Raiders use free agency before making his decision. And that's true too, because you don't know how this team is going to look. And I understand not wanting to come out right now because we're going through it all over again, right? I just read something. But yeah, it's good to see how the direction looks like, and then you could figure out what you want to do. So I agree with that. Hugh Jack says that he must say I am staying, not I want to stay. But yeah, that I guess so. And that goes back to Joe's point and a lot of Raider fans' point. Come out and say you want to stay or you're going to stay, and then everybody could just relax. But again, I don't think that he's going to say it. He's just going to leave it up to interpretation for everybody else to talk about it, and that's what we've been talking about ever since. Max not leaving is selfish. Thomas says that these players starting to be like LeBron, leaving your team on to go and ring chase. I mean, if see, that's the thing. If Max went to a team, I don't think anybody's going to be mad. If he went and won a ring, I think we would all be happy for him. Most of us would be happy, right? Because I think I don't see a lot of Raider fans going out there saying, "Man, f this dude," yada yada yada. But maybe there's a small percentage.
There will be some people that when if Max leaves, and I don't think he will, but if Max leaves, there will be some people that go, "Well, we never liked him anyways," and I'm like, "What the."
Man, it's always like that. I mean, Devontae left. As much as we didn't like it. Like I don't hate Devontae. Like he left. Whatever. We didn't really like after Derek Carr. We really didn't give him anybody to work with because he was promised certain things. So I understand it. But there are gonna be fans that are like f that dude. Whatever he does, f him. Same with Josh Jacobs. For me, I guess
But Devontae left and went on Pat McAfee and was like. He kind of pulled an AB and was like celebrating.
He did. Yeah, he did. That was kind of crazy though. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't see Max when they make the trade or if they make the trade or anything. I don't see Max running in his backyard doing flips and stuff, going, "Yeah, I'm free." Like, I think Max would be upset. And Max, I don't know Max personally, but I'm gonna just looking at him and listening to him. He loves the reputation he has, the love that he gets from the Raider Nation. He loves, and he doesn't want to mess that up. And I think that's why he has never came out and said, "I want to be traded," because he doesn't want to mess up his reputation. He wants to be an all-time Raider for the rest of his life. And I think if he comes out and says, "I want to be traded," that kind of tarnishes it just a little bit.
Yeah, true. Some people. Thomas also brought up the fact that if Max says he has that Kobe and Jordan mentality, then stay with the team that you're on and win with it. And that's true. And that's why I feel like he wouldn't want to leave because he idolizes or that's his guys. Jordan and Kobe, and they stayed with one team and won with that team through the ups and downs.
Jordan didn't play with the Wizards.
Oh, that was at the end. That was at the end. Okay. That Kobe mentality is damn. You bring up the Wizard part of it. Okay. Jack said, "Who hurt you, Simone?" The Raiders hurt me. It was every single year. It was the Raiders have hurt me. What's really the difference between Carr and Crosby as it pertains to success and their worth? We struggled as an organization more than anything. Yeah, I mean,
and the Raiders waited too long on Derek Carr.
They did.
Right? They were offered multiple first-round picks for him. They said, "No, we're going to keep him." And the next year, they got absolutely nothing for him. So you got to weigh that option too. And this is the highest Maxx Crosby's value will be right here is this offseason. And this is the first offseason that we've actually seen that the Raiders might entertain trading him. But I kind of go back to what John Spytek said when he was first hired last year is you don't let good players out of the building and you don't let pass rushers out of the building.
Yep.
And now it's like a year later, it's like, well,
maybe. And we're only thinking, it's only a thought because the Raiders are basically rebuilding this year, right? We're starting anew from the ground up. And Maxx Crosby is one of those pieces that is valuable. And every team would love to have a Maxx Crosby. And the Raiders, even though they don't want to trade him away, if they do want to get something in return for it, Maxx Crosby is the only guy that you have. I mean, you got the other guys, but I don't think any of those other young guys the Raiders are even thinking about. But that's the only reason why. But we said, and I agree with you, it's not going to come down to what the Raiders want to do. It's not going to come down to what the coach wants to do. It's going to come down to what Maxx Crosby wants to do. And it's all in his hand. The power is in his hands. And I forgot who brought it up, but I think it's going to take maybe seeing what the Raiders do in free agency to make that idea up. But we'll have to wait and see. And we're playing the waiting game. And that's why we say that the NFL Combine this week is going to be huge for that because then we'll figure out or find out whether teams are going to make an offer that maybe the Raiders would at least entertain. And we'll find out in the next coming weeks if the Raiders go through with it. Now,
but this is also where the Raiders will have their draft board and get ready and find out, okay, there are a lot more players in this draft that we like. So, yeah, let's move on from Max. Or they're going to find out like, oh, this draft isn't as good as we thought. We ain't trading Max. Like, we're keeping him. So this is like, that's how important this week is. When they start sitting down with these players and they go, okay, now we have a draft board of 50 players that we want out of this draft.
Yeah.
And yes, trading Max, we could actually get a couple more. But if they go in this combine and they find out that, hey, some of these guys aren't exactly what we thought, and they start taking them off the board, then the Raiders will be like, hey, I don't care what we get offered.
Yeah.
This draft isn't worth trading them for.
Yeah. No, exactly. And now I do want to play that clip, the Ocho Cinco clip that you were talking about. And shout out to Raider Post. They're the one that posted this on Twitter. And he basically said this is one reason why I think that Max will stay because of this. So I'll play it. You guys, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. Or we already talked about it. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't even move it over. Okay, here we go. Oh, there we go. Can you see it now? We good? All right.
You said, looking back, you should have stayed in Cincinnati. Why?
It would have been great to be around when times were good. Because I never knew what it felt like to win at the place I felt like was home. Being in New England was great. It was great because I got the chance to win. It was a great feeling, but I would have loved to be home, what I consider home, and what I know inside and out.
You said.
Yeah, and exactly. And that's what we were just talking about. Max winning with this organization. And I mean, Ocho Cinco is a perfect example because he went to New England and started seeing the Bengals flourish. But it's better to be in the building and be a part of the turnaround than to go somewhere new and see the team that you built or the team that you've been a part of start winning without you, you know?
Yeah. And 87 Nada put in there, said, Joe said it a few weeks back, March 11th is the date to watch for. March 11th is the start of the new year and that's the start of free agency as well.
Yeah.
But March 11th, Maxx Crosby's contract for next year becomes fully guaranteed the third day of the NFL new year. So March 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. So around the 14th, 15th is when that contract kicks in. And that's where, if I'm the Raiders, that's where I would trade him. But then that also gives you a couple days to see how free agency goes and stuff like that. Like I wouldn't be pushing to trade Max right now unless you're already willing to do it. And Max already said it, but that's where that would be the kind of date that I'd be looking at. And then Ian Rappaport has posted out there saying that because of Max's injury, it might push it back until after that. And sometimes the guaranteed money doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
But if I was the Raiders, I would be looking at that guaranteed money being like, I don't want to pay that. If I'm going to trade him, he's not going to be on the team. That's one of the reasons I got rid of Derek Carr at the start of this, the league years, because of the same thing. He was guaranteed money at a certain time. And he's not the only one. Geno Smith, like the combine, like I already know the Raiders, like some Raider fans are running with a tweet from a I don't know his name, Evan something. It's funny that
I was gonna get into that.
I don't even know who Evan, whatever that guy's name is. He's not.
I told you,
only like 2 or 3 NFL insiders. There's
there's
Ian Rappaport, there's Adam Schefter. They break the news. Everybody else goes and jumps on it. Evan, I don't know what the hell his name is.
Evan
like,
Siddery, bro. Come on, man.
He's not saying anything that people don't already know. Like, but at the NFL Combine this week, there could be a team that is interested in Geno Smith, and they could offer, and the Raiders could trade Geno Smith, because if you think about it, Geno's only going to make only going to make $26 million next year. In a league where quarterbacks are making $40 million plus, Daniel Jones is making $40 million plus. Like, a team that knows they're not going to get a quarterback in the draft this year, and they need a stopgap quarterback, and they want to take a chance. They're going to take Geno Smith, and they can get him for a 7th round pick and only pay him $27 million. I think they'll jump at that. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Raiders release Geno Smith on the first day of the year. I think that they're going to talk to teams this week, gauge some interest, and I think there might be one team that is willing to trade for Geno Smith. Like as much as it would surprise us, there might be a team that does it.
But that's what I said. It was like, as bad as he was this past year with the Raiders, I don't think that he's that bad. He's one of those quarterbacks that you got to put a lot of pieces around him for him to succeed. And last year, we just wasn't that team. And that offensive line, sorry to say, I think as Raider fans, a lot of people give Ashton Jency, they give him the benefit of the doubt because the offensive line was bad, but they won't give the benefit of the doubt for Geno Smith because nobody really cares about Geno Smith. But anywho, I think that any other team out there, whether it's a 5th, 6th round pick, I think you could take whatever. If we could get whatever for him, I think that they'll trade him away. But this was the tweet that I seen, and shout out to Evan because he's with SeatGeek. So, or is that Kalshi? But he's a really reliable source in the NFL spaces too. NFL and NBA reporter, powered by Kalshi Sports. Yeah. See, so he knows something. He tweeted out that the Raiders will release Geno Smith ahead of the new league year, which will clear the way for the number 1 overall pick, Fernando Mendoza, to start immediately. Smith's 2026-27 salary is set to become fully guaranteed on the third day of the new league year, if not traded or released. So, looking at that and now thinking about that, because without him talking about it, I don't think anybody would think that Geno Smith might be released or cut, right? Or traded away.
Without that breaking news from
breaking news.
I thought we were keeping them for sure. And
thank you, Evan. But my thoughts on it is like, I still wouldn't mind. Like, okay, kill me in the comments if you guys want to, but I wouldn't mind Geno Smith staying on the Raiders for the simple fact that I think Clint Kubiak and Andrew Janocko could get the best out of him more than Pete Carroll did with him last year. I just think that the only red flag with him is the fact that he came at the Raider fans. And Raider Nation, they don't trust this dude. They don't like this dude. I mean, he's not a Raider. For all that, Raider fans will look at Jamarcus Russell more of a Raider than Geno Smith at this point, right? So I understand that part of it. But if they do want to move forward with him as a mentor, whether he starts or whether he backs up for Fernando, then that could be something. I don't see it happening. And now that we know that Geno Smith will most likely be gone from this team, thanks to Evan for breaking the news, then now I feel like the Raiders most likely will move him in, like you said, NFL Combine. The same way with Maxx Crosby, they're also going to be talking about Geno Smith and finding somebody, because I think that there should be a team out there crazy enough to at least bring him in as a backup quarterback or as a bridge quarterback, but we'll have to wait and see. He did tweet out, "Thank you, Lord, and God is the greatest." So maybe it's already done. Maybe it's already done with him.
Well, and then that's the thing. So it's either the Raiders keep him, pay him $26 million going into the next season, and keep him as a backup or a mentor or the starting guy until Mendoza's ready. They release him, and they're paying him $18 million if they release him. They save $8.5 million if they do that. Or they trade him and they get to keep all that $26 million, and that goes on tour. So there's goods, bad, and everything. Like I understand what you're saying. Like, are we going to find a better backup for Fernando Mendoza on the market?
Yeah, we could.
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, like you said, once he flipped off the fans and once Geno turned on us, that's when, like, Raider Nation can forgive you for the interceptions and all, and having a bad season and all that. But once you turned on the fans, that's when the Raider Nation said, "Get the hell on."
I trust me. I know Raider fans could be annoying as hell. I'm a Raider fan myself, so I know. But you get paid to be a Raider. You get paid good too, pretty good. But you gotta have thick skin when it comes to this team, man. And flipping off the nation, they'll never forget it. I mean, heck. We had Derek Carr, and for years, Derek Carr was getting the brunt end of it, right? Like from some fans as well, because his play wasn't up to par at times. But the worst thing that he did was cry. Well, that's the worst thing that he did was just cry in a press conference. But he never came at the Raider fans. He never disrespected the Raider fans. So that's why I said, like, you got to have thick skin, especially at that quarterback position. Heck, Jimmy G was getting chewed out, and he didn't do anything towards the Raider fans. Gardner Minshew as well. He just moved on and packed his bags and went on. AOC gets shitted on, bro. and AOC just goes in the locker room, does his thing. But like I said, like Geno Smith, like that, definitely a big ego thing with him. And the chat feels the same way too. Alex says that his ego is bad. He is not bad players. No bad players, only bad coaches. I see that. Watch Geno Smith ball out on other teams. I think he will, free thinker. I think Geno will ball out on another team because
you listen to Mr. Fitz.
Yeah, Mr. Fitz called it. Watch. Mr. Fitz said numerology. He said last year wasn't Geno Smith's year, but this year, oh, so whatever team we trade him to, maybe if we negotiate. Oh, she should have been at the NFL Combine negotiating with teams, saying like, "Yo, Mr. Fitz, numerology, Geno Smith's gonna be great next year. Give us a third round pick. Give us a second round pick. You know, you're gonna see."
Let me text Spy Tech real quick and be like, "Hey, let other teams know about the numerology that Geno Smith."
Did you see what Sam Darnold did last year? Geno Smith's gonna do that this year. Do you want to win a Super Bowl? Just shoot us a second round pick. We'll call it a deal. No, but yeah, you know, all jokes aside, man, I think he will be better on another team depending on the situation because the Raiders organization last year was just all over the place. Chip Kelly, Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll weren't on the same page, whatever it may be, but it was just everything everywhere. Everybody was just all over the place. But some people say
round pick and no, give us a 6th round pick and we'll give you our 7th round pick and Geno Smith. And it's just swap picks.
Just say take them. Anybody take. You guys are gonna be getting pennies on the dollar for Geno Smith. We paid a 3rd round pick last year. It is what it is. But you guys could get him for a 7th round pick, whatever it may be. But you know that's Geno Smith. I also don't think that he wants to be a Raider, so I don't even know what we're talking about. I think he's fed up too. Just like the Raider fans are, I think that he's fed up. He's like, man, they don't understand. But that being said, those getting to some other points real quick. Man, shout out to the chat, man. We've been going pretty well on here. Over 100 people up in here. Like I said, we'll continue to do morning shows like this every single day from Monday to Friday, and we'll just build a community here. And damn, we're talking pretty good for an hour. But I want to get on some quick hits real quick. Don't want to make it longer than it should be. But speaking of free agents and going into free agency, there is a list of free agents. And I want a list of Raider free agents, and I want you to tell me: are you keeping or are you cutting these free agents? Because the Raiders got heaps. Because Pete Carroll ended up signing a lot of these dudes to one of your deals. But yeah. So chat, you guys let me know as well. Lance says that Geno is gone, brothers. He is. Cards for 2026? Hell no. No, I'm joking. Maybe I don't know. I don't care. I think he would be a better mentor than Geno, so we'll see. But let's go over some of the Raider free agents for this upcoming free agency. Keep or cut, Jamal Adams.
Cut.
Ooh, Alex Bachman.
Cut.
Jacob Bobenmeyer.
Cut.
Daniel Carlson.
Because they're saying Bobenmeyer might have been the reason that Carlson had a bad year because some of his snaps and stuff.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I'm keeping Daniel Carlson for another year. I'm maybe 2 years, but I want Daniel Carlson to come back because I want to see his redemption.
Yeah. And Stone Forsyth. Come on now.
Peace out, Stoney.
Ah, damn.
Cut.
Darnay Holmes.
Cut.
Damn. Okay. Lonnie Johnson Jr.
I did like Lonnie, and I thought the defense was a little bit different when he came back. Is he going to fit into this new defense? Not sure. Are they going to go after better safeties? I think on the market, yes. So I'm going to cut him as well.
Okay. Malcolm Kuntz.
You can't rely on hope. You can't hope that he comes back to who he was. Cut.
Ooh, okay. Tyler Lockett.
Bye.
Oh man,
Cut.
former Seattle Seahawk dog. Come on, man. Raheem Mostert.
I like Raheem, and I think we need to find a running back to offset Ashton Genty and be that. But I don't think Raheem's coming back to us. He's an older veteran, and I don't know if they put a sour taste in his mouth. But yeah, I'll cut him as well.
Dylan Parham.
I like Parham. I do. I think he had a very bad year last year, and I want to put that on the Carrolls. I would, depending on the price, I might keep him because offensive lineman it's hard to find, and going into a zone blocking scheme,
At least have some depth, huh?
I think he'll be better in it. So I would probably try to keep him and go from there.
Oh, real quick. MB Fitter said, or MB Fit says, I'm having lunch with Carr later this week. I'll let him know that you said hell no. Let him know. Let him know. Yeah, but then hopefully he doesn't remember that one.
Where's he going? Oh, no. I was going to say, where's he going? Chipotle, but that's David Carr loves Chipotle.
Oh, okay.
They always eat at the local Chipotle, or they used to when they
let all those free agents go.
Okay, I'm really the only one I'm going to go ahead. You can keep going.
Yeah, we're not done yet. We're not done. Come on, man. Don't spoil it for me. Kenny Pickett.
Bye.
Oh no, he got to be cut because he's wearing that number 15. John Radigan. Radigan.
John, buy again. Cut him.
Damn, I didn't even know who that was. And Landon Roberts.
Damn, I like it. Landon Roberts. Is he really a free agent? I thought he signed a 2-year deal. Oh man, I like him. I think he's a good in the run game, but I have a feeling that the Raiders are going to go after other linebackers in this season, so cut him.
Okay.
I do like Landon Roberts. Though. Damn.
Eric Stokes,
I'm signing. I'm bringing it. That's the one guy. I could have told you before we even started the list. Eric Stokes was an underrated cornerback last year. He had a very good year. The only thing that people had against him is that he didn't get those interceptions. He didn't get an interception, but dude was in the top 15 of yards allowed and everything else. He had a very, very good year last year.
Yeah, that's why I'm worried about keeping him because he doesn't know how to catch those interceptions. So can't catch him.
That's why he's a DB because he don't have the hands.
He can't
if he had the hands, he'll be on the other side of the ball.
You're gonna have to catch that unemployment line. No, I'm joking.
I'm still kicking myself over things that I'm cutting out.
I like Eric. I was just joking. Ian Thomas.
Nah, I'd probably cut him. I do. I see him using a lot of tight end system, but I think they'll draft a young tight end in the later rounds or find somebody younger.
Yeah. Zamir White. Yeah, he had his opportunities. And last but not least, the franchise leader in tackles for a season by a linebacker and was snubbed of the Pro Bowl this year, Devin Whitehouse.
Man. How much does he want?
$10 million.
Oh, hell no.
Let me see. Let me ask ChatGPT. What was his
if he takes $4 to $5 million.
Devin White's projected salary, right? Projected salary. Let's see.
But I mean, what a good bounce back for him last season, and a lot of people could talk about how he gave up. He had the most catches against him and all that, but he also played a shitload of snaps last year.
Okay, yeah, no, true. I love Devin White. Everybody hates on him. Yeah, he's sorry in coverage, but he's not a cornerback, so he does what he does pretty well. And the Raiders could use some depth at the linebacker position. But according to ChatGPT, the latest projections of Devin White's 2026 salary estimate for the market, base salary should be $13 to $15 million. Wait, I'm not done. Come on, man. With incentives to make upwards of $16 to $20 million. Why? Why ChatGPT is giving me this is because 1, he's a proven top tier linebacker. 2, the market demand for an elite off-ball linebacker remains strong. 3, the team have been playing linebackers. Oh, the team has been needing a solid linebacker at the position, and this would likely structure avoids massive dead cap unless restructured. So it's either a 3-year deal, upwards of 40 to 45 million total, making around 13 to 15 million per year. Or maybe you put them on a prove it year, or maybe you put them on a 2-year prove it deal. Or you put them on a 2-year. Wait, I'm almost done. Or you put them on a 2-year prove it deal, $12 to $15 million. With incentives to hit. So with that being said,
He made like
So
less than $2 million last year. I don't
Devin
care
White.
what ChatGPT says.
So with those projections, Zeus, getting a elite caliber linebacker that broke the record in his first season back and has won a Super Bowl and had multiple Pro Bowls and is a big position of need. Are you keeping or are you cutting Devin White? Be honest with me.
Ask ChatGPT what they smoking right now. Hell no. For that much money, no. I'm thinking like maybe I was gonna give him a little bit of raise and go to 3 to 4 million, but no.
Damn, 3 to 4 million? Oh, yeah. How much is he making this year?
He made like less than 2 million this year. Because this was a prove it year. Like the last 2 years,
Yeah.
he was falling out of love with football. They finally got him back into the love of the game. He had a very good year, like for what you were expecting. It was a low risk, high reward kind of contract.
So it was a 1 year, 1.1 mil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But don't you think he proved it though?
Yes, that's why I don't get why some Raider fans hate on him, because dude was on a low risk, high reward contract, like $1 million, and he went out there, set the records for tackles. Yes, he did get exposed in the passing game, but that's on the whole defense. That's on the defense backs. That's on everybody else. That's on the defensive line for not getting to the quarterback as much. That's the whole defense. Like,
yeah,
it comes down to it.
Man, shout out to the chat, vet. Let me go over. So, some people say I'm keeping Stokes. What about Polamalu? Is he a free? No, he not a free agent.
I hope he was.
No, he's staying on this team. We need a starting safety over here since Jeremy Chin not doing his job. He over here getting hurt.
All right, I found something better for you.
Okay. Hold on. Let me read. Yeah,
Sports Track has his value at $2.8 million is Devin White's contract.
That's not enough.
2.8.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, somebody just said it in here. STVN says Spotrac is currently projected $3 million a year. ChatGPT says you're number 6 Raider streamer now. Okay. You feel me? You gotta work on the incentive-based contract for D White. I don't think it was bad, the incentives, like if he went out there. But and shout out to what MB up in here. He says, "Oh, damn, I didn't know it was you, Night of the Shield." Shout out to my boy Night of the Shield. You got a new YouTube channel? I didn't even know that. But yeah, that's my oath. I definitely got to get you on the show sometime. And Millennial Raider was in here for a bit. He says, extend Pickett, trade the first overall. Of course he says that because Derek Carr's not a quarterback. But
yeah, you talk about a Derek Carr lover. He still cries, dude. Like, you mentioned number 4 and he cried. Like, ain't nobody wearing number 4.
No. LC, you better get out of that jersey. Darth Jader says, I re-signed Devin and Madden, but he's losing to rookies. Okay, like if it's projected $3 million, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
But I'm not bringing Devin White in to be the starter. I'm bringing him in for his. I would bring him back because of his mentorship. And I'm hoping to bring young linebackers in the building, and you have a veteran that works with them, because that's what I like from Devin White, and he holds people accountable. I loved it when him and Maxx were fighting last year. Like, not fighting, but they were yelling at each other, holding each other accountable. And I thought that was great. Like, you need that leadership in the building, especially with a young team.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why I wouldn't mind bringing him. Like, it'd be a cheap deal. And it just adds depth to the locker room and is a mentor for a lot of these young guys too. And whatever linebackers we do bring in, because that's a position that we always overlook, especially for the Raiders in the draft and even in free agency. We always go get veteran guys. And shout out to the guys that do come in. They come over here, they do well, then they go get paid. I mean, we've seen Robert Spillane go to the Super Bowl this past year. I mean, we've seen a lot of these guys, Caleb on Chason. Like, so hopefully the Raiders bring them back. It's not the end of the world if they don't bring them back, but it's just, I wouldn't mind it if it was to happen, especially if it was for $2 to $3 million. Yeah, it won't hurt. Or if you guys believe in him, pay him that $12 to $15 million, then okay.
Shut up on that.
Come on, man.
12 to $15 million. Get out of here.
Let's see. Okay, let me answer this question real quick before we get to this last topic. This last topic, and would anyone ever consider moving up in the draft and grab wide receiver pair with Mendoza like Surratt? I don't know if they would. I mean, I think it's definitely a possibility that they look at those guys, Surratt and Cooper, whether in the second, third round. I don't think it's a big need for the Raiders to get one of those guys, but it would be nice. I'm really high on getting Alec Pierce in free agency if he hits free agency because a lot of people look at Decker, right? Or what's his name? Becker from Indiana, the guy that's not going into the draft this year, the one that caught all those touchdowns. Alec Pierce is literally a clone of that dude, and just having somebody like that on this roster would be perfect for a guy like Fernando, especially as somebody that he could trust. But maybe we already got those good receivers because I think Elijah Surratt reminds me a little bit of Jack Besh, so that's why I wouldn't really want to go get. I'd rather go get Omar Cooper if it was out of the two guys. But that's just me.
I like Skylar Bell, and you could probably get him in the third round.
True.
I have a feeling that the Raiders will walk away from the draft with 2 first-round picks. I don't know. I think I could see him trading up into the end of the second round for something. If it's a wide receiver, it would. I like Casey Concepcion, and I think he's more of your JSN kind of guy. But I think the Raiders could sit back and take a younger guy like Skylar Bell in the third round and be good with them as well. So,
Yeah.
And like you said, we did invest in 2 young wide receivers last year, and we got to hope that they get going. But we all know the Raiders need a number 1 wide receiver.
That's facts. That's definitely facts. But we'll have to wait and see as it gets closer to the NFL draft. And I know as we cover the combine this week, we'll look at some players, especially some players that stand out to us. And there's going to be a lot of people that I might not have on my radar. Maybe Joe doesn't have it on his board, but might come up. And we'll talk about it more as the week goes on. But last thing I do want to talk about is something I at least in every single episode or every single live stream moves, I want to talk about something going on outside of the Shield, basically. And recently, the Raiders, USA wins gold, Deuce. In a historic miracle in Milan, the United States achieved a double gold sweep in ice hockey at the 2026 Winter Olympics, with both the men's and women's teams defeating Canada in overtime. The U.S. men defeated Canada 2-1 in overtime on February 22nd, 2026, exactly 46 years to the day since the 1980 Miracle on Ice. Jack Hughes scored the game winner. And for the U.S. women, they also defeated Canada 2-1 in overtime to secure their third Olympic gold medal. This is the first time the U.S. men have won gold since 1980 and their first gold ever won on non-North American soil. So, all that being said, did you watch it? And what are your thoughts on USA winning gold and being on top of the world, baby?
It's about damn time. It's about damn time.
Come on,
like
now.
You talk about like we haven't watched the Raiders win a championship. We haven't watched USA win gold in a hockey. Like that's Canada's like baby, right?
Yeah.
Canada loves hockey. They live hockey. They breathe hockey. And we beat them in their own game. This is the United States now, baby.
Come on now. We on top, baby.
We on top of everything. And it was a great overtime win. And I watched the girls. The women were down like all game until like 2 minutes left, scored, and then went into overtime and won that one. Like, just it feels good to see USA win and to be able to bash Canada just a little bit, right? Like I didn't know
bash Canada a little bit, yeah.
Just talk a little shit. I guess that's what the Olympics are about, because for the next 4 years, ain't nobody gonna talk about how USA can't play hockey, because guess what? Yeah. Speak to the medals, baby. Speak to those medals. Overall, good Olympics.
Because we not the twos, Zeus. We the ones. Come on, baby. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't even watched the thing, but I seen it and I was happy because I'm an American, and all I can say is USA. Come on now. Hey, we won some. I can't wait till we have the Olympics in LA. Once I know Canada's been whooping our ass in hockey, but we've been whooping that ass in basketball, and now football might be coming. Flag football, right?
Flag football.
Belts has who's come on now. Yeah. Hey, that'd be embarrassing if Canada beats us in flag football or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Wasn't there like a couple years ago we sent a flag football team to like overseas somewhere and they got spanked But you got to remember. Here's what you got to remember. Then I give us USA the benefit of a doubt when it comes to stuff like that. We have so many different sports options here in the United States that some athletes are taken to other different leagues, right? We're not focused like some of these countries are dead focused on just winning the Olympics and they focus on certain events. So I could see us getting our ass kicked in flag football once they have people go because we're not going to allow some of our best players to go and play. And that's finally what happened with hockey is we are finally allowed. I think they said that they had to get like a 447 or I don't know. It was a huge $1 billion insurance for the athletes that went over there. These professional athletes that went over to play hockey and stuff like that. It was a ridiculous amount of number for the insurance in case somebody got hurt. But I'm just glad. I don't know how much of the Olympics you watch because they started right before the Super Bowl, like the 2 days before. But dude, my sport was curling. I watched curling the whole time. I've been watching curling. And it's just like sweeping and
damn
shit. But USA actually was competitive this year in it, which was different. So hey, USA moving up. We doing some good stuff in these gold medals.
We're doing something positive.
We didn't win gold and do anything of that like in curling, but we were competitive, and that's a good thing.
And that's all we asked for. But yeah, man, shout out to Team USA for winning gold. That's huge for the country. Doesn't really put nothing in my pockets, but it's good to see them win. So I thought I just kind of gloss over that just a little bit. But Oos, man, shout out to you. Shout out to the chat, man. Landscreen said, "Why are you hating on 45?" I'm not hating on. If anything, I love 45. We both love 45. It's just that Joe wouldn't pay him what he's worth. He'd rather just be cheap and give him $2-3 million. I'd give him the 10 to 15 mil, bro. But you know that's just me. But shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to everybody up in here, man. Man, for the first day, I don't think it was that bad. Like I said, we'll continue to do morning shows like this, me and Joe, for at least for the rest of the week, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It was cool. Shout out to tonight. I see you up in the chat, man. I got to get you on one time, but we'll have guests as we continue to go, and we'll have guests and talk about a lot of things going on within the Shield and outside of the Shield. But yeah, any last remarks, Zeus?
No, I like the chat was awesome today. I appreciate everybody who showed up and got in here. And this is what we want. It's hard to wake up early in the morning, but it's great to talk Raider football and talk anything in the morning, right?
Yeah, it kind of forces me to get up too. So get to talk about some football as the day starts, and hopefully everybody has a great day as well. I'll be if you guys are in Vegas, man, I'll be covering the NRL this week. The national, or I don't even know, is it National Rugby League or I don't know. It's a rugby league basically. So they'll be out here. I'm gonna go to their media day today, but I'll also be looking at the combine today. Tomorrow, the rest of the week. I don't think they do drills until Wednesday or whatnot, but
yeah, starting Wednesday.
But at least we'll get some headlines. I know Raider fans, we're gonna have a lot of headlines, knowing that the Raiders always in the news some way somehow. But yeah, man, shout out to 87 out. He says, man, dope show, Oos and Joe. Yeah, I'm not sold on the quarterback with only one good year. Oh, come on now. Get them likes up. Yes, sir. Great show. Let's go, man. But yeah, until the next one, this is your boy, Simone Raider and Joe Morley. Until next time, we are out of here.